get to working on this. Megami Device. WISM Scout. So this is something that I had won. Oh, Simon Lamdew. Gotcha. Gotcha. That's good. I like it. Man, you guys are pretty sharp. I was like, I don't get it. What is that? I love it. I actually love it. That's here, let's get you on the board, 16. I like it that much. Now that I understand. There you go. Yeah. So yeah, this is something that I had won this year, but I have a lot of stuff that I have yet to build from last year, which is kind of nutty. But I think this might be fun to get into as like kind of like the original Megami Device kit, and I think it's probably gonna be very simple, but maybe it'll be fun, and maybe we'll get some ideas. Well, meow, meow. 11 and 12. Let's get... This is it. We're working on the Megami Device. Let's get to it. As I said, this is the first in the series. And, yeah. That's kind of interesting. At least from, like, a historical perspective. It sounds funny to say. The historical perspective of waifu kits. Let's see here. B11. And I know that they revised this kit. This is, in all likelihood, the revised version, but I'm not really sure to what extent has it been revised, in the sense that, like, did they retool some of the parts? Because I know that was an issue with some of the earlier Megami Device models regarding, like, you know, fragile connection points and all of that. We shall see. Fiasco. How's it going, Fiasco? I'll retool your parts. Damn. Got me there. How will I ever recover from such slander? Here, let's shout out. Fiasco. And happy Monday to you. Hopefully you are doing well. We're working on a Megami Device model now. Earlier I was doing some slight custom work on my Grimoire Red Beret, but not really too much. And here we are. Did I say Monday? Damn. Damn it. You guys got me. I fucked up. I was doing pretty well, too. I was doing pretty well for a couple of weeks there, getting my days of the week right. My bad. Wednesday. Wah wah. You guys, I fucked up. Classic Epo. I was doing so well, too. I think when it's like the start of the stream and at the end of the stream, that's when I'm on like high alert. But if it's the middle of the stream, I'll fuck up. Okay. You got me. Alright. Maybe I need more rain energy drink. Rainbow sherbet. I think that might be the solution. So yeah, I've been also kind of thinking about the rest of the year that we have left and kind of plotting out the rest. And I'd like to do a Halloween build, because I've done one every year since I've started to build it and stream. So that's something I'd like to do. And of course we have the GBWC build, so that's another thing. But that one is kind of more up in the air, to be honest, because in some ways, I feel like I don't want to rush it, and it is going to be due in October. I believe the end of October. So time is running short, and I really don't know if we'll get it all done in time. I would like to. And let's see, after that, yeah, so there's some other things. I know that me and Joe have talked about doing a collaboration. So possibly that we shall see, as well as doing a Machining Krieger build. And then that's probably going to be the extent of it, I think, as far as builds for the rest of the year. The ball drop too. So something might have to give in terms of like managing to do all of that with the time that we have remaining. Kishi, how's it going, Kishi? Nice to see you here. How you doing? Moist? Get a new ball, yeah. I was talking about balls, yes. Theme Fiasco here has procured a very nice ball indeed. It's actually a component of a larger build. The name escapes me, but it's the Wotem Pod. The Wotem Pod. And that looks really cool. It was golden too. Shiny. You know what, Fiasco? I only saw one. So as far as I know, Fiasco is a single ball owner. The Re-Rising Gundam. You got 4 balls, damn. 16. With the genetic mutation, he will, like, you know, he's been called to Xavier's school for the gifted children, and Wolverine's like, so what can you do, bub? I've got claws, and I have lasers that come out of my eyes, and I can make ice, and I'm Beast. I'm very acrobatic and blue and fuzzy. And 16 is like 4 balls. 4 balls. Read them and weep. Premium, though. Okay, hold on now. We're talking about premium balls. Hold up. Hold up. Premium balls? Fiasco. Next time ask about the Polypod ball. I showed you my Haro in Gundam base colors before. Ah, there we go. Now we are increasing the ball count exponentially. Many more balls. Yeah, so if you haven't made such balls, or if you intend to work on your balls further, you could very well indeed participate in the Gunpla Ball Drop 2024 EX plus Alpha Special Edition. That's what I'm calling it, by the way, because last year I called the Ball Drop 2024, and that did cause a wee bit of confusion. Did I say I know, I'm getting everything mixed up, but including Gunpla Ball Drop last year, where yes, I did call it Gunpla Ball Drop 2024. And I'm going to call it Gunpla Ball Drop 2024 again this year. It's going to be Ball Drop 2024 EX plus Alpha Rainbow Turbo Edition for easy operation. The orange one. Ooh, those are both really nice. I like those both. Those are very fine balls indeed. You are the possessor of fine mastercrafted balls. Yeah, I'm on a roll today. I'm getting everything wrong. All I need to do is pronounce Vallejo wrong. Vallejo. '24 remaster. I know, HD remaster. go. And let's make sure these are clean. Yeah, hopefully you're doing well, Fiasco. Paint the polypod. What would you paint the polypod? Polypod. Fun to say. Let's see if this will close just normally. Let's take a look. Yeah, it'll close. But it just seems like it doesn't want to close up with those other parts in it. Okay. Oh, the main character player from Blue Archive is referred to as Sensei. Sensei. I wonder if this can like click into place a bit more. Let's see. Sensei. What kind of gameplay does that one have? Is it like turn-based? Is it action-based? They showed during Gamescom Infinite Nikki. I don't really know much about that game. Some people are saying that it's also a gacha game, but I don't know. But it looks kind of fun. Honestly, there wasn't too much during Gamescom that caught my eye. The new game from Tarsier Studios, the developers of Little Nightmares 1 and 2. That looks really cool. But it's also very much like Little Nightmares, and it's interesting because they ended up getting bought up by Embracer. Everyone knows about Embracer, the Swedish company that has swallowed up a number of studios, and then this year ended up closing a number of studios. Pretty stupid, but thankfully Tarsier has survived, and they will be releasing a game called Reanimal. I think that's what it's called. Now, this game here, it looks so much like Little Nightmares that it begs the question, why not just make Little Nightmares? But because they ended up getting bought by Embracer, something contractually happened where like they could no longer work with another studio, like or a publisher, like Bandai in this case. Bandai Namco published Little Nightmares, the franchise. So interestingly enough, we are getting a Little Nightmares 3 by an entirely different studio. The devs that made we need the Until Dawn games. Yeah, and Night Trap had mentioned that during the stream. So in a sense, like, I think it's great because in a very short amount of time we're going to get effectively 2 Little Nightmares game, an official sequel and then like a spiritual successor. And I don't think that's a bad thing, in the sense that like my feeling is that Little Nightmares 3 is going to feel similar enough to the other games, but different just due to the fact that it's made by a different studio. I gotcha, Arch. And it might feel better or worse or just different, but that's fine. And then we'll have Reanimal, which looks very much like what you would come to expect from a Little Nightmares game from the original devs. And it might end up being even more ambitious, because I felt like between the first and the second there was a lot of, what do I want to say? A lot of see, I don't want to say improvements, but it's more like they decided to go bigger in a lot of ways. Tell a bigger story, a more grand story. Definitely had a bigger budget. And so my feeling is with Reanimal, we're going to see that like continue even further. Bigger budget, more ambitious storyline. So yeah. Hold on a second. I have noticed with this part and the other Megami Device model that I built, this was a kind of fussy part, so we're seeing if trimming this can help. I think it's gonna help. It already feels like it goes in a lot better. Apparently they have good memory and will help humans who are nice to them. Yeah, it's cool. Why are they so scary in Bloodborne, though? Those frickin' Bloodborne crows? Holy shit. Truly nightmare fuel. We often talk about how Bloodborne is a nightmare, but nothing embodies the nightmare more so than the frickin' crows. And then, sure enough, later on you encounter crows with dog heads and dogs with crow heads. A messenger from hell. There we go. We finally did it. It was a matter of trimming those, like the round plate part for the model. So that's often the thing that I hear about these Megami Device models, is that you really just need to trim some of these parts to get it to fit nicely. But yeah, that's good. I think we're on the right track now. C7. An emissary from hell. Isn't that what the Japanese Spider-Man is called? An emissary from hell? C2 and C3. C2 and C3. Okay, here we are. Oh, Bandai Entertainment Corp. Okay. The in-house devs, I understand. Alright. Okay. I think I have all the parts I need for this. I think the best era for Xbox was the 360 era, but it didn't span the entirety of that particular generation. When they released their console a year before Sony released theirs, that gave them a huge advantage, but even on top of that, it was an easier console to program for. At least that's what I hear. And you could get better results faster than the PS3, which, again, my understanding was a more unusual console to make games for. However, if you could understand the inner workings, you could produce really good results. It's just that would be something more for like first party rather than like, you know, devs like Ubisoft and so on and so forth. But yeah, that initial kind of first couple of years for Xbox 360, they were really good. But what would you guys say? What was the writing on the wall? What was the pivotal, like, you know, what was the pivotal moment where things started to go wrong for Xbox? Was it the announcement of the Xbox One and the TV always online thing? Was it fully embracing Kinect in the generation prior, the late 360 generation, where they were like fully embracing the casual gamers and Kinect and all of that shit? Was it kind of abandoning Japanese devs and focusing more on Western type games, Western style games? What do you think was the moment that it all went poorly for them? It's never gone right in the first place. Realistically, it's the Xbox One. Yeah, that was definitely a low point. For sure. The Xbox One, says Arch. That was definitely, yeah. Xbox One for sure, the biggest hit, I'd say. The early 360 hardware failure. Oh, you're right. Gosh, can you... Man. I almost forgot about that. The whole Red Ring of Death thing? It's crazy how... like, I can forget about something as big as that because there's so many other screw-ups that happened afterwards. That's kind of crazy. Alright, I am looking at these instructions. I'm trying to see how this stuff goes. .360 era is pretty good from what I recall. Yeah, so I didn't have a 360 like during that era. We got one several years later. And it was good though. Like, I remember Digital Foundry. That's the YouTube channel that goes over like the graphics and and they do comparisons between consoles, most of the time the 360 was way better than the PS3. Whether it was Call of Duty, BioShock, Devil May Cry, like across the board, every single game, Assassin's Creed, Bayonetta, it was always better on Xbox. There was a couple of instances where I think like maybe Metal Gear Rising was better on PlayStation or Vanquish, but most of the time, yeah, was definitely always in favor of 360. Bacon, real talk, if the 360 came out today, it would never take off the way it did back then. Yeah, I mean, how do we measure that? Like, how do we actually come to this conclusion in the sense that, like, are we accounting for, so it's just the exact same piece of hardware, but it's released in 2024? I mean, could you not say that the same thing of PlayStation? Like, if PS3 came out in 2024, it wouldn't do as well? Just because the graphics for that thing would look really dated? The PS3 had issues too. Yes, the PS3 had, it definitely had issues, not to the extent of like the Red Ring of Death, which there was some data regarding that, like as far as like how much that was costing Microsoft to like repair and all of that stuff. And it was like a lot of money, like in the billions or some shit. I don't know. The PS3, I would say that the issues were more like in terms of, as I was saying, like programming for it and getting the best out of it in terms of graphics. Hardware-wise, it definitely had issues too. As a matter of fact, my PlayStation 3 did end up having hardware issues. I had to get it repaired. But yeah. Oh, social media would have ripped it to shreds with the red ring. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where Microsoft would have to basically front the bill to make things right, and possibly, in today's era, yeah, they might have had to do more than what they did. Possibly release some kind of "we're sorry" package. Do you remember Sony did that a handful of times, like after the hack, and also when the PlayStation Go didn't really take off, they released a kind of like, hey, thanks for buying this, or thanks for supporting us. Here's some free stuff, because we know it's not doing as well. They might have had to do something like that. Rooster Teeth? Wow. Are they no longer around? Yeah, the Red Ring of Death cost them a lot of money. Bacon, this is why I personally believe things never went right for Xbox. They just got lucky for one generation. And yeah, I would say not even for the entirety of the generation. I also think that they kind of killed the Xbox original. I was about to say Xbox One. That means something else entirely. But I felt like they kind of killed that too soon. If you look at Sony's strategy, like a new console comes out, but there's still support for a few years for the previous generation, but the Xbox strategy is usually like, yeah, we're no longer, it's dead. Don't even think about it. At least with back then. Now, when we're talking about the God, I have to think for a second to get the names right. The Xbox Series X and S, the latest gen. There are still games that you can play them on the Xbox One X. Yeah, yeah, the One X and S. Um, but yeah, when you think about, for example, the original Xbox and the Xbox 360, when the new gen comes around, they pretty much drop the previous gen. But I think it's kind of good to support the older generation. But maybe I'm crazy. At least for a little bit. They had to recall and redesign the whole console. Really, the OG Xbox just got lucky with Halo? Yeah, Halo. I mean, they were the first ones to really nail online because, like, on PlayStation, you could... on PlayStation 2, there was online stuff, right? But it just wasn't as popular, right? There was like Final Fantasy 11 and SOCOM and some other stuff that you could play online. But yeah, Xbox definitely was the pioneer for online, as well as, you know, Halo being like the first shooter to really create something that felt good to play on console. Alright. Oh, I kind of skipped ahead. Let's put this here. Is this perhaps backwards? Yes, it is. Making a new console with similar issues as the 360 will get rid. Yeah. I understand. Like when you mentioned that later. Yeah. PS3 had issues with Blu-ray drives and power supplies. Also some stuff with cell processors too. In my opinion, Microsoft should have dropped the HDMI in the Xbox One. Useless feature and cost. Yeah. So recently, we did come into possession of a Xbox One X. Fuck these names. That's a whole other thing. But yeah, we were looking at it, and the whole like HDMI connection thing. We're kind of like, what the heck? What is the use case for this? Like, did they even envision an interesting purpose for this, or did they just simply think the tech guys never really communicated with like the actual like console experience, like hardware gameplay people? Like, how is this gonna actually be fun? Hey, Majbu. Hey. Die! I had to make sure that I was targeting the right person. I don't want to accidentally shoot someone else. That did happen. Was it Bacon? Who was it that killed someone who shot shot Arch? 360 sold as well as it did mainly because Sony completely dropped the ball. Didn't help that PS3 cost too much. The stats, the user rating of the game on a national level, which I think is pretty amazing. I think it's already overhyped, yeah. So just imagine 2 months from now, how are people going to be talking about this game? And then half a year, and then a year. I think people might be like, yeah, cool graphics, but like, whatever. Wukong overhyped, Elden Ring overhyped, Bronny James delivered. Best Call of Duty winner, best Call of Duty player at the Vegas summer camp. People just want the game to succeed. Yeah, I don't know about that, but I think that it's a game that people have been seeing for a long time, for years and years and years. So finally being able to play it, that's kind of cool. But yeah, so again, I had been reading a little bit of reviews and impressions saying how the gameplay was actually kind of shallow or just not to the level that maybe they were expecting. And that's all I need to know for me to say, like, okay, I'm just going to wait. Because even something like Stellar Blade, which similarly received a lot of hype and criticism and stuff like that, it seemed to me, from watching Night Trap play it and others, that there was good gameplay. Like, the game was actually pretty solid and pretty challenging. And in a way that Wukong is just not. Again, that's what it seems like to me. Sweet Baby issue. Yeah, so I don't know the full story behind it. And fuck it, I don't really care enough to actually discuss it, especially since I don't know enough about it. So maybe Bacon can illuminate on that, or maybe you can investigate it on your own. Or I should say that added to the overhype level, yeah. But also, you know, I feel like any game that's sufficiently, like, big, so to speak, ultimately gets a proportionate amount of flack. Like, there's always, like, a certain amount of criticism levied against a game, or what do I want to say? There's always a certain amount of drama that follows a game once it becomes big enough. And you know, you think about like Assassin's Creed, you think about like every time Rockstar releases a game, every game, even Last of Us, all of that shit. There's always something, and in many cases, it's justified. The criticism, I'll say, but also, it's just part of it. I did hear, so going back to Black Myth Wukong, I did hear that the devs, and I believe this is confirmed, but I did hear that the devs, if in the content creator package that they sent to influencers and stuff, there's specific writing in there that you can't discuss politics, feminist propaganda, that's like literally what it says, and China and some other shit, and I'm just like, wow. They sound like a bunch of wussies. To me, I'm just like, why is this a part of your package? Why is this a part of your, like, influencer package? I don't know. If it wins Game of the Year, someone will complain. If it doesn't, someone... Yeah, exactly. And that's why I feel like I try and not to pay too much attention to the drama, even though it can't be helped at sometimes. I try not to get too invested because there's basically complaining either way you slice it. It's Vanilla! How's it going, Vanilla? What up, what up, what up? Here, let's shout out Vanilla. Yes, Vanilla. Let's shout out. Vanilla. Doing some trucking. Trucking as a mime. Doing some arting. Please check out Vanilla. Super talented. Let me see here. I noticed that these legs are very, very small compared to later Megami Device models. This very well might be something that I might have to upgrade at a certain point, but we'll see. Basically, I think I need a bigger butt. Can we go back to talking about how Brawny is not overhyped? Yeah. Brawny is the best. We love Brawny. I actually hope that he can succeed in some capacity in the NBA. If only to show people up. If only to prove the haters wrong. But I mean, how do we measure success for Brawny? How do we measure success for good old Brawny? Oh. Okay. I mean, he might end up doing like 1 year and then dip. Yeah, that needs to be cleaned up. Okay, kneecap E. Wait a minute. Oh, there's 2 sides to the kneecap. Understood. Or a bust all NBA. I don't know, dude. Maybe the esports division. Maybe he can join. What the heck is it called? The esports league. Yeah, that came and went, and I barely even paid attention to it. New area for Warriors is going to be fun. In the sense that it's going to be a total disaster. Alright, these 2 knees. There you go. There. And then the knee. It's crazy how much of this needs to be assembled in 3 separate parts. I almost feel like this could be all individual. Like, or rather, this could all be a single part, but what do I know? Sixers should be interesting, quote unquote. Wait, who's on the Sixers now? They got someone new. Who is it? Oh, Paul George and Embiid. Yeah, so the thigh part here, I will usually do like a seam line fix on that, but we're not going to do that just yet. A26. Yeah, this is a fairly smooth build at this point. I feel like we're kind of trucking along. I've done this, like I said, I've built, what, 1, 2 Megami Device kits at this point? And if it's not Megami Device, I've built some other kits that use the same general construction. So, yeah. it's been a while, so it's kind of fun coming back to this. And we're just plugging away. On YouTube, Mr. Spricken on YouTube, he was like, "Oh, cool! I'm happy that you got this kit because this was one of the first kits that I built and customized, so it's pretty special to me." And I think that there's something to it in the sense that, as I was saying, this kit has a very generic sort of look to it that is suitable for customizing. So I say all that to say that I will probably end up customizing this in some fashion, and I feel more compelled to do something special for it, just due to the fact that it's rather unremarkable in a lot of ways, straight out the box. 20, oops, I cut out the wrong part. I need 27 and 26. When are you planning on building the horse waifu? Yeah, so I feel like the next few builds I have to be pretty choosy with my time, because we are kind of like running out of time. We are running out of months. Shout to Wukong, yeah. Lovely Wukong. Let me see. I thought there was a boot here. Robocop, no! Sacrifice Robocop. How could you? Robocop! It's okay. I mean, if you played it and you got like as much enjoyment as you could out of it, then yeah, there's really nothing else. Okay, so after you do the basic body, you then go on to make like an armored version of the character, which may or may not use different parts, or you have to swap out entirely different parts. I see. And at that point you have the boots, which I feel like I want to build sooner rather than later, just because these like pointy toe things are like, I don't know, it just doesn't look like anything at all, really. So yeah, I'm gonna get some boots, some big old boot action. But yeah, that's the WISM Megami Device soldier kit, and we've done a decent amount. The body, 2 arms, 1 leg. That's actually more than I usually get accomplished during these streams. It is a little misleading that they show 2 of these kits, 2 characters, when there's only 1. And yeah, I feel like there may have been some folks that were misled or have bought it assuming that there was 2 and then disappointed, because they've never done that since. They've never made that mistake since, or rather they've never had 2 models featured on the box. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for me. We did it.